When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen, this is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
What the hell?
Oh, yes, and of course, this is a special time of year because this is my birthday, and this is a special birthday and a special milestone. For those of you who do follow me on social media, what little I do participate on, you'll know what it is, and I'm keeping it a secret otherwise. So, but I did manage to get a few gifts. Somebody actually gave me a few Blu-rays, 2 of which I actually had, so those will not be mentioned. So 2 of those from them, and then 3 from the Criterion sale, because my wife said to me, pick a movie from the Criterion sale, that one is your gift from me, and he gave me enough for 2 from the Criterion sale, which was very nice. And we will show those off at the last part.
I didn't realize they started the sale over the weekend. I'm broke till next weekend, but I'm going, and you'll see some of those next week.
And then you'll be broke again.
Yes. No, I am trying to save up for the big trip.
Ah, yes. Well, we'll have to be broadcasting from on the seashore.
Yeah. One reason I'm broke is I did go to the seashore this weekend, very briefly. But it was fun. It was a nice change of pace.
So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the 2 non-Criterion ones. As per on the Criterion month, I'm going to be focusing on Criterion pickups throughout the month of July. So, I'm not sure if we're... Let's see, this is number 96. We're doing a special one for 100. So let's see here. So 96,
It's going to be around
so
the start
97,
of
8,
August.
99 will be 3 more weeks on top of that, and there are 5 Mondays in July.
Okay.
So that's 1, so that's 4. So the 100th one will be the last week of July, I think,
Okay.
if I'm remembering correctly. You see, yep. So 1, so that's 96, 97, 98, 99. Yep, 100 will be
Oh,
on
wow,
the
that'd be
29th.
cool.
So the last week of July.
Sounds fun.
So we'll do something special on that one. And away we go.
Yes.
So apparently this friend knows me because there were many of these films. 2 of them I had, but they're actually rare indie films, for goodness sakes. The only reason why I'm keeping my copies of them is because one signed by the director and then one signed by the entire cast. So it's hard to give those up.
Yeah.
So, but this one I did not have, which is President's Day. Yes. It's campaign season, and the students of Lincoln High are buzzing about who's going to be class president. But when a psycho dressed as Abraham Lincoln starts hacking up students, the candidates must run for their lives. One by one, the mighty Lincoln lambs are being slaughtered by the merciless maniac in the stovepipe hat. Everyone is dying for a vote. Essentially, I've been wanting this anyway because I do really like Sean C. Phillips. He's one of the ones who's known as Cool Duder. I think that it's really cool. I like following him and What Movie One online, and then we've got Cat Damage.
Hey, Anderson.
Alright, well, in any case, I do enjoy following him online, and this was a film that he was in, supposedly, so I do look forward to checking it out. Most definitely.
The Merciless Maniac and the Stovepipe Hat. That sounds like a fun song.
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay. So, Anderson, don't knock over our light.
Hey, cat.
Okay. My pickups will have a couple of themes. First of all, cattail.
All right, I'm going to take him up.
Okay.
You go ahead and reveal your first one.
Okay.
I will put him up.
So, as mentioned previously, Anderson. Okay. Anderson is playing hard to get here. Okay. As mentioned previously, we are. I am currently working my way through a pretty good-sized backlog of pickups that I got from the Friends sales at the library. Different branches in some cases of the library, but I have picked up a pretty fun assortment. So that's theme number 1. Theme number 2, just like last week, I'm doing a little mini theme. I'm doing a theme of documentaries. As I have said before, I'm trying to improve the number and variety of documentaries in my collection. I like learning. I really do. I love learning. And documentary films are a fun way to go about it. I'm going to actually do 2 as one because they're closely related. Kind of like those lovely Bob Ross videos I got. I think these are part of a much longer series. They're probably one of those series that you order off of the TV, and there's any number of them you could get, and someone donated 2, so I picked up 2. And they're National Geographic videos. The first one is called Last Stand of the Great Bear, and the second one is called Eternal Enemies, Lions and Hyenas.
Ah.
So these are, again, both National Geographic nature programs. I grew up watching the National Geo specials, and they're really good specials.
You
They're
can't
really,
go wrong with those.
Yeah, I know. There's some good... these both have a 2005 date stamp on them, so they're probably recent-ish. Each one comes with a, quote, bonus program. We have Assignment Great Grizzlies and Renegade Lions. I don't really know. I haven't gotten to watch these yet. But like I said, you really can't go wrong with the National Geo programs. And I'm certainly happy to make room on the shelf for a couple of these.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm going to go with my next artistic picture. Pardon me as I readjust.
The artistic one.
From the kitten
Yes.
damage here. And that is Army of Frankenstein. I've got a little rebel flag there in the background. I guess the rebel army of Frankensteins.
Apparently.
So,
Is that Mario? Doesn't he look like Mario?
look at this guy here. So after a failed attempt to propose to his girlfriend, Alan Jones is beaten within an inch of his life by a street gang, transported to a mysterious lab of Dr. Tanner Finsky and his kid genius assistant Igor. Alan becomes the subject in a series of horrible experiments as a part of the doctor's plan to reanimate the legendary Frankenstein monster. But all bets are off when these experiments lead to a whole being ripped in space and time, pulling an army's worth of infamous creatures from hundreds of parallel universes and sending them all back to the 19th century. Directly into the heart of the bloody battle between the North and the South. So, it's Frankenstein's monsters from
That's
parallel universes,
Frankenstein.
and they're fighting in the Civil War. So you can't go wrong with this concept. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a concept like that quite.
It is
before.
creative. I'll give it that.
So I will be curious as to how that turns out at the end.
What's the tagline there?
Let's see. North, the South, the undead.
Okay, good times. So at any rate,
I'm using films worthy of Criterion.
apparently,
That's
So-
what's going on the list next week.
next up, one of the best known documentarians of them all, of course, is Ken Burns. And I have been very slack. I don't think I've actually watched any of his programs. But I had an opportunity to pick one up very cheaply, and it could be a good one. This is called Lewis and Clark: The Journey of the Core of Discovery. And so you got a PBS Ken Burns series, 240 minutes. So what is that? Probably 4 specials, roughly. But yeah, this looks like it could be pretty interesting. I've never been a big student of history, but I've always been appreciative of it,
Yeah.
and always interested in having a look here. And apparently Weta was involved in this somehow. Okay. But anyway, so this has some additional stuff. There's a couple of documentaries on about the documentary. Some Charlie Rose interviews. I mean, it looks like a nice little set, well put together. Probably going to be very informative. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's weird. PBS is actually releasing one on Blu-ray next week. We didn't talk about it. The American Experience Chasing the Moon, which is coming out, which I didn't think about talking about, but after seeing all these documentaries, I'm like, interesting. Well, I see, now I get into the Criterion sale stuff. And this was stuff all purchased. Most of the month is going to be stuff from previous sales. But this one is from this sale. And one of them I've already watched. And that's this one. My wife's gift to me, Don't Look Now. Which, according to Scream, the movie Scream, was the first slasher film. Which I highly disagree with, if that's the case.
Is that what they said?
According to Dustin, but I don't know whether he's right or not. I have to rewatch Scream to really...
I feel like Don't Look Now was mentioned.
See, to me, it can't possibly be that way because it's 1973. And there were some before that. I believe 1970 was one of them. And then...
Well, I think Bay of Blood was like 71 or something.
Yeah, I think
like
Bay
that.
of Blood was
Psycho
earlier than
was
that.
earlier than
And
that.
Psycho was much earlier.
Yeah.
And this really didn't have a lot of... it's essentially about this husband and wife. They lose their kid. That's nothing like big. It's even on the back here. And so they go to Venice to do some restoration work on these old churches. The wife runs into these 2 psychic women. One of them blind. I was going to say blonde. One of them blind, one of them not blind. And they mention of their lost... Sorry, it's not son, daughter. Lost daughter. And she gets pulled in by this. And, of course, there's this thing that something bad is going to happen to him. And on the side, they keep finding some of these dead people throughout. So it's got a little bit of borderline creepiness. There's a couple of semi-intense moments. But the editing is horrific. One scene, for instance, there is a sex scene between the two. It's a pretty explicit sex scene. But it's interspersed with pictures of them getting dressed and getting ready to go out. So they're getting undressed and, doing it, and at the same time apparently getting dressed and getting ready to go out. So it's kind of jarring. And the pace was incredibly slow. But I know we have some horror aficionados who follow us, at least 1 or 2 in particular. would you say that Don't Look Now is a slasher film? And what makes it a slasher film? Or the first slasher film? As opposed to things like Bay of Blood, or Psycho, or there was another one, Black Christmas.
Yeah. I think Black Christmas came after that, though, didn't it?
I don't know, when did
Wasn't
Black
that 75?
Christmas- well, I can look it up while you do yours, and
Yeah.
I'll say it as we get to the next
So-
one.
My next one up is one that you have seen, and I think you have. And it's actually a new one. I would have preferred to get on Blu-ray, but it was brand new. So I was like, heck, whatever. Might as well. And this is, every now and then I will see something, either a movie or a TV show or whatever, that just makes me want to eat good food. And this made me want to hop a train to or not a train, a plane to Tokyo, and immediately and post haste. And I may have already missed my window actually to fully enjoy this dude's food from the way the documentary went. And I'm talking, of course, of the film Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Good film.
It is a very good film. It's about this really old dude named Jiro who makes world-renowned sushi. I mean, apparently his restaurant is it's called Sukiyabashi Jiro. It's a 10-seat restaurant. It's literally a hole-in-the-wall eatery. You know, one of those, like, people talk about, like, this little place that no one's ever heard of, and they're so proud that they know of it. And of course, now that the
I was
documentary's
going to
out,
say, people in the sushi circles knew of him
Right,
beforehand.
right.
He never had a problem getting people in.
right? And it's just everything. I mean, it was a fascinating documentary. If I remember correctly, it really does get into the art of making sushi. It talks about the business of it, but and he was an interesting character. So, and then of course it was two sons, right, who are both
And,
like rival chefs, and
And he's training one up to actually take over.
Right.
So I doubt the business will close. It'll just change.
it will
hands.
change. Yes. But yeah, like I said, if you've never seen it, it is a really good documentary, and very entertaining. But also, like I said, it will make you hungry.
Well, if you like sushi.
Even if you don't, it might. Because anytime you see really good food being prepared, it
It was up and down, because to me it's harder for me to get. Well, I'm allergic to shellfish, so it's hard
Yeah.
for me to get hungry for something that'll kill me.
yeah.
And I don't like raw fish. So those concepts, it's a good documentary, and I also feel like it's a good show of the Japanese work culture. I really considered them the hardest working culture. I think we're second in that, as our culture is always about work until you die and don't get paid for it. And Japanese culture is very similar to that, is work until you die. And he embodied that. You know, got up every morning, had one day off a week, the rest of it just constant work. And that's a part of the culture. It's a sad thing, very different from European culture. So it was.
I think it's debatable how much it's ingrained in American culture. It's like,
Well,
theoretically,
it's what's.
but in practice,
It depends. You hear that from a
depends.
lot of people, and you kind of. It's a longer debate.
we're raised that way.
Yes.
But like I said, I don't think people follow through with all that well. Yeah. Anyway.
But 1974 was White Christmas, Black Christmas.
Yes,
slightly
White Christmas,
different.
the first slasher.
Well, if it was White Christmas, then it would have predated Psycho.
Oh man.
Those were the cut scenes.
Yes, they were. That's why they call it a slasher.
Oh, Bing Crosby was really killing people behind the scenes.
Oh man.
So these are the two, of course, that Jake got me for. Well, unbeknownst to him, what he got for me, but he did give me the opportunity to use the sale.
Yeah.
So, my first pickup was the more expensive of the two, which is Camarade du Sat...
Kameradschaft?
Has Camaraderie is
Okay.
is the title, but it's a German title.
Uh-huh.
1931.
Oh.
And I was reading the back of this, actually, when I was looking at the Criterion stuff for the previous. And ended up getting 4 total, but 1 I bought for myself. I was the only one I allowed myself to buy out of my own money, which is very limited, for the Criterion sale this year. So that will be up probably next week. But this one actually is talking about 2 groups of people, German and French, both trapped in a mine on bordering areas, and a joint effort needed to come and get them. And in the 30s, that would have been a very tense time. And this was based off of what I think is a true story. So, again, really kind of cool. I like the concept, and it looks pretty neat. Not a ton of special features, but definitely some decent ones. I mean, you've got like an interview with a couple of people, 3 people, and a new translation. And of course, as always, an essay.
Of course.
There's always an essay if you've got.
And they're
Criterion.
usually really good.
Yeah. Even the barest bones would have an essay. So it looks pretty cool.
Very cool. Next one up I have is another one that looks very cool and it's exciting. And this thematically cycles back around to the first ones I started with. This is a set called Big Cats.
Woo!
And it's a 2-disc, well, it looks like 2 discs. 4 stories. We got Elsa's Legacy, the Born Free story, The White Lions, Revealing the Leopard, and Siberian Tiger Quest. But basically, once again, we're looking at a PBS Nature documentaries. Don't really see anything else that leaps out at me as far as information. But I love cats, and I love studying wild cats, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, with fewer and fewer wildcats being left, because they
Which is
require
very sad.
many of them require so much land. So eventually, they're not going to be any wildcats. So it's kind of good to
Let's hope it doesn't get to that point.
so enjoy the documentaries. And that's actually a pretty famous one too. The Big Cat series.
Yeah, cool.
I remember seeing advertising for it all the time back when it was coming out.
Which would apparently have been around 2010 to 2013-ish. Okay.
My last one is the cheapest one. I was surprised because it's a Blu-ray, and usually they run 40, which, gets discounted to 20. This ran 30, which discounted to 15, which had also a 10% discount on top of that.
Nice.
So, but I just couldn't not get this,
Hey,
which is Fritz Lang's Ministry of Fear.
yeah, that's a good one.
It's a cool looking one, definitely very cool sounding. Suffused with dread and paranoia, Fritz Lang's adaptation of Graham Greene's novel is a plunge into the eerie shadows of a world turned upside down by the war. On his way to London after being released from a mental asylum, Stephen Neal stops at a seemingly innocent village fair, after which he finds himself caught in a web of sinister, possibly Nazi-connected underworld. Lang was among the most illustrious of the European, immigré filmmakers working in Hollywood during World War II. And The Ministry of Fear is one of the finest American productions, an unpredictable thriller with the style to spare.
Yeah.
I'm guessing a lot of it's because there weren't a lot of special features on this. I mean, you got an interview with Fritz Lang, which is not bad.
Now a scholar.
Oh, yeah, with the scholar for Fritz Lang.
Yeah.
And the trailer and the essay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand, and it's kind of sad because you see a film, definitely the age-wise is good, but it's kind of sad we didn't get more special features. So I
Yeah.
can kind of understand the lowered price tag.
Except that they very rarely do it. And I'm going to have to remember that one is cheaper. That might
Yeah.
be give me one. That might be one I'll try and
I
get.
mean, it's the one worth having. I've
Yeah.
been wanting to get it for a while, so it's when I saw it and I was like, "What the 30? Okay, I'll go for that." Yeah.
There's another one that's 30, and I don't remember what it was, but I'm hoping I can find it again because I think it was a Japanese film. So I know there's a few of them that I still need to get. Anyway, my last one is one I'm really, really looking forward to finally watching. I've very familiar with the music of this documentary. I heard a lot about it. One of my great regrets is that I never got to see this tour when it happened. But speaking of Criterion, I believe very strongly that Oh Brother Where Art Thou needs a Criterion release, and it needs to be bundled with this one, which is Down from the Mountain, which is the documentary about the music from Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Ah.
And more directly, it's about the concert, the tour that a lot of the musicians went on. You had the Cox family, Fairfield 4, Emmylou Harris, John Hartford, Chris Thomas King, Alison Krauss, David Rawlings and Gillian Welch, Ralph Stanley, the Whites, all of whom are featured in the film. Actually, Chris Thomas King plays Tommy Johnson, who's a major supporting character. And the Fairfield Four have a cameo as gravediggers. I think I don't remember if anyone else actually showed up in the film. But just phenomenal. If you somehow missed all this music, it's phenomenal music. And
Oh
it's
yeah, I
just-
have the soundtrack.
is great. I do have the soundtrack to this film. I, of course, have the soundtrack to Our Brother Where Art Thou. Like I said, I really wish I could have seen this tour. I did see Alison Krauss in Union Station not long after, and they got a standing ovation when Dan Tominski did Man of Constant Sorrow. I mean,
Ah.
that was just... so it was
That's,
pretty cool, but... I just, like I said, there needs to eventually be a Criterion release where they package Sullivan's Travels or Brother Where Art Thou, Down from the Mountain. It would be a really awesome collection to have. At the very least, Oh Brother needs a release from
Yeah.
Criterion. And even if this one
Does
gets
it-
a separate release,
Does it even have a Blu-ray release?
I think it does. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, I don't think I've ever actually seen this, so I'm really looking forward to it. So, and I was very happy to pick it up cheap.
I think we did. Didn't we? Did you do a Coen Brothers collection for the Criterion list last time?
No, because they have not yet completed their filmography, and I
That
wanted
is
to.
true.
But I did do Oh Brother, and I think Fargo as individual ones that need.
I was
Releases.
curious if it actually has a Blu-ray. Let's see. I guess maybe it does. Yeah, $9.99 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Which
they haven't done any sort particularly fancy one, which is
no,
kind of strange.
there's no special edition, which is weird.
It is weird.
You'd think that this would be something that they would package it with,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
but what can you do? Any case,
Yeah.
with that being said and done, we are done.
Yes.
So, of course, like our channel if you like the this video. Subscribe, share, and comment. What is it that you picked up this week that you're really proud of? We'd like to know.
Yeah.
And we will see you on the next one.
Goodbye.